The Grand Cavern Cryptids. This photo was taken in 1895 by an amateur spelunker/photographer named Orrin Jeffries while exploring an unmapped section of Grand Caverns in southwestern Virginia. At the time it was taken, Jeffries was conducting photographic experiments, using long exposures to see if anything at all could be captured in the total absence of light, otherwise known as cave darkness. He would situate himself on level ground, extinguish his lantern, and then open the lens of his homemade box camera for as long as he could stay in the darkness. During one of these experiments, he heard something approach from the deeper recesses of the cave. Frightened, Jeffries abandoned his experiment and set off one of the Blitz-Lich flashes he used for taking traditional photos underground. According to the report he later gave to a local newspaper, Jeffries saw 3 humanoid creatures staring at him from the shadows and took off running in the other direction, and didn't stop until he was topside. Several days later he returned with 3 other men to retrieve his box camera. This is the image that was recorded on the film inside. Be Me. Visit Algeria with family in 2009. Visit cool places around the coast. Find a tourist attraction where they let you cross the Sahara with a party of people. Most of the trip is uneventful. We reached the Libyan border. This is Gaddafi's Libya, so the border control is very strict. We had to stake out in an oasis town till they processed our passes. Evening comes and our party gets a BBQ together. We're talking about the journey, but one guy is absent. A Greek dude who's mostly very talkative is staring out into the desert. I look towards the direction he is. The sun still slightly pops from the horizon. Cool, I think. But then I notice the people. In front of the sun, a group of silhouettes is standing maybe 300 meters away. I want to look away but can't. I stare for a few minutes and a tap on my shoulder knocks me out of it. I walk up to the Greek dude and tap him out. He looks at me and shouts, "Wow!" He starts telling everyone about the silhouettes. The guide quickly shuts him up. He tells us not to stare because the sun messes with your eyes. Clearly bullshitting, but okay. We get shooed off to our rooms. I'm chilling out with my family when we hear frantic knocking. It's the Greek. He's freaking out. You saw it. You did. I know you did. He kept talking about the silhouettes. He then dragged me out of the room and told me to follow him. He told me to look around. I saw small blue and yellow dots in the horizon. No matter which way you looked, they were there. Greek is going nuts. Then 2 of the blue dots start getting bigger. I tell the Greek to shut the fuck up. The dots get very bright. A blue light illuminates my body. I start feeling very exhausted. Me and Greek fall on the ground. We both start vomiting. Then someone comes out with the brightest flashlight I've ever seen. I get a glance at what was being illuminated. It was a humanoid figure. It was wearing a skull covered in arms. Pic related is a sketch of what I saw. It retreats back into the darkness. This dude screams at us in Arabic. The guide comes and slaps us with a sandal. Tells us to get the fuck in and not come out until dawn. Dawn comes and we pass through Libya with no trouble. The whole journey, me and the Greek are silent. Guide doesn't even want to look at us. When we come back to Algeria, Guide advises us to go to a hospital. I do. Doctor asks weird questions like, any bad dreams, hallucinations, relatives seeming like strangers? Answer no to all. They let me out. Feel uneasy the rest of the trip. Let me tell you about the long men of Tawakoni. Always visit grandma and parents at least once a month. They live out in Lake Tawakoni in East Texas. Bumfuck middle of nowhere, pastures and lakes. Lakes are filling up real good this year, by the way, almost 6 feet above average. Me, brother, his girl go camping because tired of family shit. The equivalent of staking a tent in the middle of a barren-ass field because we ain't got no woods out here, son. We all get drunk off our asses and pass out. Wake up early with a hangover. It's about 4:30 going off my phone. Leave tent to take a piss. See man walking across the field. No biggie, probably just a hunter. It stops when it sees me. gives me this really weird ass wave, as if its entire arm was stiff. Wave back. Guy keeps standing there, waving. Crawl back into tent and wake my brother up. Couldn't have been in the tent more than 10 seconds since all I did was give a boot to his side. Step back outside. This motherfucker cleared 600 yards in 10 seconds, standing and waving that stiff-ass arm. Chill runs down my back, hair stands up on end. Know from previous experience that this shit ain't good. Tell brother to grab his gun. That woke his ass up. He comes out with his rifle. Tell him to aim it at that thing. Thing stops waving. Tell his girlfriend to get into the truck. Both are still shit-faced and hungover, but oblige. Take the rifle and keep it trained on that thing. Its fucking arms unfold. The reason its arms were so stiff and waving is because it was waving them like an idiot with its arms bent up to its shoulder. Motherfucker had like 6-foot-long arms. He stopped slouching, easily 8 feet tall, going off of a distance of 450 yards. The most banshee-like screech I've ever heard mixed with a guttural roar emits from the thing. Its jaw distends to the point that it's where its collarbone should be. Pot shot it. Thing lanks on to all fours and hightails it away from us. We come back to the campsite later that afternoon with our shotgun filled with buckshot and the AR-15, just in case, of course. Tent is shredded and all our food is gone. Track the garbage towards the swamp line. See a ripped-apart muskrat hanging from a tree. We both decide to call it quits and just get the fuck out of there. B8. Mother is pathologist. Visit her at work after school sometimes. She has to do something, leaves me in her office. Decide to go see the corpses. That's a strange thing to do as an 8-year-old. Ghost of old guy standing next to his corpse. Grins at me, asks me if I'm the youngest doctor here. Politely tell him I'm not, but my mother is. He says he can see the resemblance. She did a good job on him. Wants to offer me candy, but remembers she took them from his breast pocket. Mom barges in looking for me, asks me what I'm doing. Tell her I was talking to the ghost, but he just vanishes. She looks at me funny, tells me ghosts aren't real. She would know. Tell her the old man wanted me to have a candy from his breast pocket. Her jaw drops. Old man, laughter from nowhere. We both turn to the corpse. Its mouth shuts slowly. Mother tells me to wait in her office and goes to check on her work. Joins me half an hour later with a candy from the ghost's pocket. Takes my promise to never let anyone know about what happened under pretense that she'd lose her job for handing out personal possessions. Really fucking tired one night. Get home and collapse on the sofa. I'm too tired to get in bed. Sleep soundly. Crash. Fell off the sofa. God, I feel like shit. Something feels incredibly off. I look around. That's not my sofa. Realize I'm in a completely different house. Instantly fucking freeze up in fear. Why the fuck am I here? Could I have stumbled into the wrong house? How did I even get in? What if I was abducted? Calm down and decide to explore the house. Why the fuck I decided on this and didn't just leave, I'll never know. The house looks old and abandoned. Doesn't look like anyone has lived here for a while. Keep hearing noises you'd expect from an old rundown house. Think I keep seeing someone in my peripheral vision. Hear a door creak open. It wasn't open before. I'm fucking terrified at this point. Questions are racing through my mind, but I'm not getting any answers. Sprint out of the house. Every shadow is a potential threat. I'm outside on the street and calming down now that I'm out of there. Start laughing from relief. I'm such a fucking idiot. Hear knocking. What? Turn around. Can't see a thing. Knocking again. Turn back to the house. Dark figure standing at the window. Waves to me. Nope.jpeg.exe.avi.rmvb. I swear to God this is a true story. I've never felt so fucking terrified in my life. I probably stumbled into the wrong house and encountered a squatter. One summer when I was 10, me and my stepdad were going on a cross-country drive to Bond. My mom was in prison. We were driving somewhat close to the Humboldt-Toyabe forest, and a man came walking out of the woods who looked like a human pig. I'm not talking as if he was fat or had kind of an upturned nose. He flat out looked like a pig that grew to 6 feet somehow and learned to walk upright. He was also wearing clothes and had claw-like hands but no hooves. He just walked right in front of us nonchalantly. We drove up to a rest stop after that and stayed there for hours, barely saying anything. We couldn't believe what we saw, and my stepdad was scared to drive because he thought he'd gone crazy. I know this whole thing sounds stupid. People always brought up that Pigman episode of Seinfeld, but it really happened, and while it's certainly possible the creature we saw was just some guy wearing a costume, it wasn't a slip-on mask or something. It was full-on Hollywood-tier prosthetics that moved with the guy's face, and his hands were made up too. Maybe he was shooting a commercial or movie or something, but if so, I've never been able to find it, and it seems extremely unlikely people would go out of their way to shoot a movie/commercial all the way out in the woods and risk letting their star go walking out on the middle of the highway, especially if they had such a good makeup budget. The closest thing I've been able to find were these Energy Hog commercials, see pic. But those didn't come out until 2005, and this was 1997. Plus, the costumes in there weren't nearly as good. I'm sure there's a logical explanation, but it was still the eeriest experience of my life. Sister moves into this downstairs Victorian-era flat. Due to the layout, it doesn't get any natural light, so you always need the lights on no matter what time of day it is. This adds to the eeriness because artificial light. Has 2 kids, boy and girl. Boy is 4, girl is 6. She's just moved in, so I go over to see her and check the place out. Just her and her son home. He's playing in the hallway in front of this full-length mirror that I've always hated. Ask him how he's doing. He's cool. Have this conversation through the mirror, like we're looking at each other's reflection when we're talking. See his eyes shift slightly to the side like he's concentrating on what's being said, except I'm not talking. Bursts out laughing, ask what he's laughing at. Ignores me and says, "No, that's my Uncle Annan." "Who you talking to?" "Simon." "Simon? The fuck is Simon?" "Yeah, you get yours too." Runs off to get his toy cars. Go sit in the living room with sister. Not sure how to approach this subject. Cut to the chase and tell her I'm worried nephew might be special needs. I mean, he's like 4 and can't even pass the mirror test. Asks me if I'm talking about him talking to Simon. She explains that he does it all of the time. He just sits in front of the mirror and plays with Simon. Ask her if she knows that he knows it's his own reflection. She tells me she'd thought that too, but she got him to describe Simon, and he absolutely did not describe himself. Throughout all of this, you can still hear him having a one-way conversation and laughing. Toilet is in the hallway, so I go and use it. Come out and he's playing with his toy cars, but not looking in the mirror anymore. Fire truck is behind him. Starts moving on its own. Must be a draft, even though there is no draft. That spooked me as it was, but the second and only other thing I experienced there really put the shits up me. Might as well do that one too. Sister and her BF are going away, just for the night, and ask me and GF to look after the kids. Say sure. Son won't be there, it'll just be daughter and her cousin, girl, around the same age, so both around 6. Girls stay in sister's bed and me and GF stay in kids' room. That way they can't get up in the middle of the night to play with any toys or things and they'll just go to sleep. I hate the kids' room because there's no door on it and it faces straight down the hallway to the front door. Worse is that the bed faces the doorway, so you have the front door at one end, the kids' door on the other, and then about halfway down the hallway you have sister's bedroom door and opposite is the bathroom door. Nothing happens anyway and we're all in bed by this time, early hours of the morning. Go to the bathroom, come out and I go check on girls. Put ear to door. Hear girls giggling and talking. Then hear this raspy as fuck old woman's voice and more giggling. Fuck this. Go get GF. Tell her girls are awake and she should tell them to go back to sleep. Bit of an argument where she says I should because I'm family, but I press her to do it with her being a girl and them being girls. She knows how to talk to them, etc. Gets up and goes over to the bedroom. See her face change as she listens. Comes rushing back and says she can hear someone in there with them. That was what I was dreading. I was hoping I had just imagined it in my sleepy state. Both of us go to the bedroom door, can still hear the raspy voice and giggling. Burst in like a madman and switch the light on. Pure silence. Girls are fast asleep. Stay awake for the rest of the night, too scared to go back to sleep. It might not sound scary, but honestly it really caught me out. Old people and kids always freak me out anyway, if it's X-related. I think it's because I know I could 1v1 them IRL, but when it's the supernatural, who knows what X powers they might have.